You wanted the best, well, they retired. So you got two dudes in a garage.
Talking KISS.
Welcome to the Hooligan Nation, a KISS-Centric podcast. I'm Anthony.
Rocco.
You're who?
Rocco.
Is that spelled R-O-C-C-O or R-O-C-K-O?
R-O-C-C-O. You gotta roll the tongue and say Rocco.
Oh, is that what it is? Pamplemousse has dubbed you Rocco, R-O-C-K-O, and I kind of like it.
But you know what? They made a mistake on my birth certificate and spelled it R-O-C-O. Rocco. But it's actually Rocco, R-O-C-C-O.
Okay, Rocco. Welcome to our version of As the KISS World Turns, where we discuss KISS current events, rumors, news, and interviews with current and past members. Strap in, crank it up, and let's talk KISS. Good afternoon, Father Rocco.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing better now, thanks.
You're
I
welcome.
needed that.
I'll keep them coming.
All right. Well, that's good. What do you want to talk about today? Got anything going on in the KISS world? Got any newsworthy things that you'd like to talk about?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you know, the Vegas thing is on my mind every single day until we actually go. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's always going to be newsworthy to me.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with some bad news. I just got an email from Pop House. Vegas is canceled.
What?
Just kidding.
I was going to say, dude.
What
That's
were you
not
going
even-
to say?
That's not even comical. That's not even funny. You need to work on that material, dude. That's
Oh,
not
no.
funny.
You didn't see what your reaction
That makes me
was to it.
sad.
Oh, well, I don't want you to cry on camera.
Good. I appreciate that.
That would be bad.
Yes.
But no, our Ace Frehley news is that Ace put out an official release, his second official release, and I'll put it up somewhere here. Ace Frehley canceled the rest of his 2025 tour due to ongoing medical issues. We told you guys on the show a couple weeks ago that we were not going to speculate because we had heard some rumors. Now, we all know that rumors aren't usually accurate, especially when found on the internet and social media. But both Father Rocco and I live in New Jersey, and I actually live about 3.5 miles away from Ace. So the rumors that we heard were from people in the area. Nonetheless, we chose not to run with those rumors. Well, those rumors are now running wild.
Yeah.
So we're going to discuss what the rumors are, but by no means are we validating these rumors because they can't be confirmed in any way, shape, or form. It has been rumored that Ace had suffered 1, 2, or 3 strokes. I've heard all 3.
Yeah, there's a lot of chatter on different podcasts right now about those rumors. And until you hear, like, I would just stay on top of for our hooligans, just stay on top of the official stuff coming out. Because, again, as he said, it's all rumors right now. But you remember what I said to you yesterday? I have, ever since I heard he fell, like, I mean, these guys are family members. We do a podcast on KISS. Most of our lives have been consuming what they do. So I have a heavy heart for Ace, and I wish him a speedy recovery. As KISS fans, as lifelong KISS fans, it's always in our conscience that these guys are like superheroes. They're going to be around forever. They're, you don't think of them as I know this is going to sound really rainbows and unicorns, but you think of them as like indestructible. They're always going to be around. When they're going to get together, reunite, all that kind of shit. And again, I'm definitely concerned for Ace, and I wish him a speedy recovery and God bless him.
Get well soon, Space Ace. Do you know who Synchin Stanley is?
You had mentioned it before. He's somebody who kind of like spoofs on Paul.
Yes, very, very bad. Paul's not the only one, but he has a deep-seated hatred for Paul Stanley. Well, Synchin Stanley, I don't remember what his real name is, but he went to one of these meet and greet shows that Gene Simmons was at a couple weeks ago in Florida. and he wore his Synchin Stanley shirt, and he paid whatever you have to pay to meet Gene Simmons and I guess take a couple pictures. And uh, Gene called him out and said, "You have to come over here." And he does this Paul Stanley voice, which is pretty good and also pretty funny. But Gene Simmons called him out and wanted to record him talking in the Paul Stanley voice. And then he said to Synchin Stanley, "I'm going to send this to Paul," which was a little shocking to me because Synchin Stanley doesn't really have anything nice to say about Paul. And it's all based on lip syncing and backing tracks.
Right.
And it's just, it's maybe a 2 or 3 minute video in total, but it's a little shocking, at least to me it was a little shocking that like Gene was just kind of kicking Paul. And it didn't come across to me as like it was Gene's shtick. Like he was legitimately trying to kick him. And Gene really liked Synchin Stanley. I mean, he's got an assistant and they all do. Like he's got a yes no guy next to him, like a no, you can't have this signed. You can only have this signed. The artists never want to be the bad guy,
Right.
so they put and it looked like a kid. I mean, it looked like a 19, 20-year-old kid was next to him, but like this guy, I don't remember what Synchin Stanley put down, but he put it down, and the guy's like, he can't sign that. We need to move on. We need to do this. And Gene just completely ignored him, signed whatever Synchin Stanley wanted, took pictures. Like I said, Synchin Stanley is standing there, videotaping with his phone, Gene Simmons, and Gene Simmons is sitting there videotaping Synchin Stanley with his phone all at the same time. And Gene is saying things like, I'm gonna send this to Paul, something like, we're gonna give Paul a heart attack, blah 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 blah. And Synchin Stanley wanted him to do a promo for his YouTube channel. And Gene was like, "I can't do that promo. We're gonna give Paul a heart attack if I do that." Like, just the whole interaction. And I guess it could all be an act, but the whole interaction kind of furthers our theory that there's a divide between Paul and Gene right now. Like, I just can't see Gene doing that. And it was funny, and I still think it was funny, but man, I gotta tell you, like, it was
Well,
it was it was wrong.
well,
Like it was wrong.
they have an interesting history, Paul and Gene. It's definitely a little bit of love and hate relationship, but at the end of the day, they have a bond that is stronger than their differences. But I think that they both don't mind poking the bear at times? Absolutely not. So to me, it seems like Gene was having a little fun poking the bear with Paul.
Look, we've discussed this over and over on this podcast. I stand somewhere kind of in the middle with this backing track, click track, lip syncing thing. Like, okay, lip syncing, no good. Fake instruments, drums, bass, guitar, no good. If you have a keyboard section in one song I have no issue with it. If you have a choir, a chorus, whatever it may be, and like I can understand the economics of it. Like very few artists can afford or are willing to put out the money to carry a keyboard player on tour to play one song. And I can understand that. The backing track thing, like, and I'm gonna, if I get killed for this, you know what? I deserve it. And like I said, I don't know where I stand with this because it seems to change. But in the case of Def Leppard, if you really listen to Def Leppard, they have layered vocals. It gives this huge sound. You can't layer a vocal 30 times with, 5 guys. You can do it in the studio, but you can't do it live.
Right.
Now, Def Leppard, just in case anybody is gonna lose their mind over this, Def Leppard recently have completely fought this and said we are 100% live. I don't understand how they can be. But if they are, good for them, they figured it out. But I can tell you that I've seen Def Leppard like 3 times live in the last 20 years. And every time they sound exactly how the album sounds. And I don't know how that's possible.
Right.
Now, we said this last week, I think in our Friday episode. Rick Allen has one arm. Obviously, they got some kind of something going on helping him to play the drums. I have zero issue with that. Personally, I think anybody that does have an issue with that is an asshat. I think that Synchin Stanley, I think there's a place in this world for him. I think he does a service for the fans that might not know any better. And then they get to form their own opinion. I've made a joke before, and it's just a joke, but we went to see KISS on the End of the Road tour. And I think it was proven hundreds of times that Paul Stanley was singing to a backing track. And he still sounded like shit. Like, if you're going to sing to a backing track, at least it should sound really good.
Like I said, it's sad because if these guys still want to do what they do, you know damn well when they're kids, they feel like they're invincible doing this stuff. They never a million years thought that it would catch up with them.
Right. And it's unfortunate. This is not a knock on any singer. For that matter, it's not a knock on any musician. Father Time catches up to everyone. And there's only maybe that 1% that it doesn't seem to catch up to. Other than that, look, an 80-year-old drummer isn't going to play the drums like he played when he was 30. An 80-year-old guitar player isn't going to play the guitar like he did when he was 30. The problem that comes in and what pisses a large number of people off is when it gets faked. And I think there's a little sweet spot where that's reasonable. I went to see Wasp. Actually, Synchin Stanley's channel is the one that I believe outed Blackie and asked him point blank, was he using backing tracks? And he said yes. And when I went to see Wasp, I immediately understood why he was using backing tracks and immediately had no issue with him using said backing tracks. The reason why he was using backing tracks is because he's in his late 60s and he's one of those lead singers that sing lead and backing vocals. And I'm sure most of them do, but they don't live. So if you look, it doesn't matter what band. Let's pick Def Leppard. If you look at Def Leppard, Joe Elliott sings a line, and when it comes to the chorus, he usually backs up away from the mic and catches his breath and gets to breathe, and then everybody else sings backup. Well, Blackie doesn't like that, apparently. So when Blackie backs up off of the mic to take a breath and to catch his breath, you can hear Blackie's voice in the chorus. That's where I think the backing track came from. I have no issue with that. I have an issue when he's singing the lines of the songs and it's not him singing and he's lip syncing. And I don't know where exactly I stand with
Well,
him getting a little help or anybody getting a little help. I think the problem is no one knows how little of help or how much help he's getting. It's a complete slippery slope, I think.
I'm going to give you a little different perspective, just from, I mean, from a small case of mine. Like I love to perform and I love to sing. Two of my favorite singers are Jeff Tate and Chris Cornell. I could do a couple one-offs. I could do a couple songs here, a couple songs there of them, and make them sound pretty good. To do a 2 hour set and be on tour and do it every freaking night and be able to sustain that voice. And how many shows has Paul done? Like Paul Stanley and I mean all these guys. I mean, I don't. It amazes me that some of these guys' voices last as long as they have. So I
Yeah, but
respect it from a different perspective. I don't want, like you, I don't want shit faked a lot either. But I also can. I feel for them because the cachet they built up, you want to still do it, and you want to be able to live up to that, and you want to be able to give your fans that. So it's kind of like it's got to be at that stage in their career a tough balancing act.
we've done this a few times on this podcast. Like Michael Jordan can't be Michael Jordan at almost 60 years old,
Right.
and there's nothing wrong with that. I think the same thing goes for musicians,
Mhm.
especially singers. Like when it's time to go, it's time to go. And
Mm.
I think most fans would prefer the artist to walk away before they become an American Idol act.
Right.
I think, but
No, no,
I can understand why they don't want to walk away. I mean, in reality, some of them financially can't walk away. I'm pretty sure that Paul Stanley could have walked away,
yeah.
but he didn't want to.
Well, they're
And
addicted to that. They're addicted to be on stage, to being on stage.
next, I just wanted to let you know, because you're a little goofy, that the Kiss Halloween collection is now available on Kiss Online if you're so inclined.
I still got old Get Up from up in the attic.
I'm
I
not
got my own stuff.
surprised at that.
I got my old stuff.
Well, there is a demon lawn inflatable
Hmm.
for a $125 if you're interested.
Hmm. I'm going to
There
almost do the Scooby Doo.
and there's a couple shirts. The shirts are not bad. I mean, the price sucks, but the shirts aren't bad. And then we kind of get into the goofy. There's a coffin posters, glow in the dark, and different assorted. Best way I can say it is full last things for people to buy if they want to buy it. So I just want to, it is October,
Right.
and you know, Kiss does not miss some way to capitalize, and apparently Pop House isn't going to either.
I'm
And
surprised this has never been your favorite holiday. Isn't this your birthday month?
It is, but yeah, I'm not huge into Halloween. I don't know, it's goofy to me. And finally, have you seen the latest social media ad promoting the KISS Cruise Landlocked?
Not recently, probably about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago. I looked.
Well, that's a bad job by you. There is a new KISS social media ad. The ad was promoting a contest that the winner wins a free trip to the event. But that's not the news. No, 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 no. The news is KISS apparently is a trio these days. The picture in the ad is of Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, and Tommy Thayer. And I personally think this is getting to be a joke now. Like, they put it out and it was gone quick. I can't find it. I do have, I believe I did, I'm learning. I did snap a picture of it. So because things disappear so quickly on the internet when they don't go over well, and I can't find the picture. I haven't been able to find the picture, which reminds me, bad job by me. I apologize, hooligans. But I got to go back to Synchin Stanley for a minute. Synchin Stanley asked Gene who was going to play drums in Vegas, and Gene, of course, he avoided any direct answer. He said something like, "We'll see," and then he said, "None of us are playing." And he said it's going to be our avatars that are playing.
Oh my God.
And that's how he got off of that. But there are, at least there are people now asking the question.
To me, it's like, okay, if Eric's not going to be there, just freaking say it. Let's move on. Like,
Yeah, just say
instead
it.
of just listen, we're going to get
I
somebody
think,
else to fill in. Eric's financially, they're not figuring it out. Just, it's going to be what it is.
and I think that's probably what the problem is. Is Gene and Paul, they you can call them a lot of things, but dummies is not something that you can call them. If either one of them point blank come out and answer that question, it isn't over there. It is what we are. We're going to ask, the next question will be why? We need to know, because we as KISS fans, we think that we deserve to know everything.
But they can't come to terms. That's it. Done.
But you know that you can't come to terms. Well, how far off are you on the money?
Call his lawyer.
What?
If I was him, I'd say go talk to. That's legal stuff. They can't come to terms. That's all you need to know.
But you know, KISS fans aren't going to be
No,
happy with that answer.
But I'm just saying. Listen, you wanted an answer. You know what's the problem. You know it's not happening. No, I know what you're saying. Either way, they're going to still dig. But I'm just saying, like,
got anything else with the trio thing?
no. I mean, obviously, like every other KISS fan, we hopefully with Eric Singer, they find some kind of way to make it happen. But they should just come out and say what's going to happen. Maybe they don't fully know, and they're still holding out hope, just like we are. But it's kind of stupid to me. Like, just either they're in or not or out. Make a statement. Obviously,
you know what? You might have the answer right there and not even know you have the answer. When I say Gene and Paul, I mean Gene, Paul, Doc McGee, the Pop House, the KISS Corporation, everybody. If anybody comes out and answers the question and says, well, I guess they would have to form the answer in a way to say, Eric's not involved right now. Kind of like almost what Doc McGee said a couple weeks ago. Like, we'll see. We're working on it. Because if you come out and say Eric's not going to be there, then that's it. By not saying anything, I think you're kind of telling the fans, well, there's a possibility still. And I believe, there could be 100 reasons why Eric's not involved right now.
one thing's for sure. I guarantee you, Eric's getting a lot of emails and a lot of text messages, and people are bugging him. What's going on, dude? What's going on? I'm sure in his world, I'm sure he's hearing a lot about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure those people that email and text message Eric Singer probably know more than we know.
Mhm.
And there may be an ulterior motive to why this is happening. We don't know it.
KISS and an ulterior motive?
Well, we don't know it. And
That's-
and as far as all the research that I've done, nobody's talking about, hey, most people say it's a money issue, but we say the same thing, and it's just because that's what makes the most sense.
Right.
But nobody has come out and said, oh, Eric and Paul had a fight, or Eric's pissed off at Pop House, or any of that. Everybody, if anybody addresses it really, they say, well, I think it's over money. Well, everybody thinks it's over money because out of those 100 reasons, that's probably the one that makes the most sense, is the money thing. So all the way, I mean, we talked about this. Well, what's he need, a couple weeks, maybe to rehearse? So they probably got till around November 1st to continue to negotiate and try to figure it out. Somewhere around that first week in November, if there's no announcement. Because look, it's very obvious that unless something changes, it's not going to sell out. Because now they're giving things away free.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. We'll know what the number is the Friday that we get there. Like, if we're standing around there with 50 other people, we're going to know it was all bullshit. If there's, I can't remember, what was there, like 3,500, I think maybe was the number. 3,500 people could get in, something like that.
Well, you got to figure that it's considered a KISS cruise, right? And there's probably people that have been going on the cruises since the beginning and never miss them.
Yes, I know there has. One
Yeah.
of them is the guy Mark from Three Sides of the Coin, went on all the cruises.
What I'm saying. So you're going to get them
10 of them.
automatically.
Yep. I would think so. Now maybe you're not gonna get them automatically. All right, hooligans, that's what we got for this week. Be back here next Wednesday.
Keep rocking, hooligans.
If you're listening to us on any of the podcast platforms, please leave us a review. And if you just found us, check out our past episodes. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel and you like this episode, please consider hitting the like button, just like that guy who doesn't lip sync hitting the like button. Hit that subscribe button, just like that guy, so you don't miss any future episodes. And check out these episodes right here. As always, if you made it this far, thank you for supporting us. And don't forget, we should all lead with love and take care of each other. Peace out, Hooligan Nation.